Hi folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Thursday, the 2nd of January 2025. So I'd like to wish you all a Happy New Year to all my video watchers. And this is my first biblical deciphering for 2025, okay? Now in today's video I'm going to decipher for you Psalm 14. Now Psalm 14 is quite short, it only has 7 verses, but within the first 6 verses, it's actually all shock horror. This is like verse 1 to 6, it's quite horrific. Now, although there are only 7 verses, only the last one is actually good news, and it packs a real punch, folks, in just how small it is, um, how small this psalm really is, in terms of verses. But yeah, it's just quite horrific, folks. So now, of course, this Psalm 14 has applications for the second half of the tribulation period. Okay, so verses 1 to 6 are for the second half of the tribulation period, and verse 6 is actually for the Millennium Kingdom. Okay, and so I do have a program here, folks. Okay, maybe I'll give you a little bit of a scan now, and then we're gonna go verse by verse on this, folks. I'm gonna fully decipher all this for you. Okay. And yeah, it's quite horrific, this one. There's no other way of saying this, but at least with verse 7, because some good news, the return of Jesus and Israel will be happy. Okay, but we'll talk more about this in a moment. Okay, so of course, this is a Psalm of David. Now, verse 1, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that does good. Okay, so when you read this verse, then you have to think for yourselves, when can this really happen? In which period in God's timeline of this 7,000 year period, if you like, can this really happen? Okay, so you got to do some analytical thinking. Okay, now this can only happen during the second half of the tribulation period, not on the first half, on the second half. Okay, and you will see why in a moment when I show you some prophecies. Okay, so the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Okay, they are corrupt. So this is what I got on my program to prove it to you. Okay, so there is no God. We got strong words. There is no God. Is mentioning corrupt and abominable. Okay, so in the second half of the tribulation period, we're gonna see the son of perdition. Okay, the Antichrist is coming from the man of sin into the son of perdition. So the Antichrist, the man of sin is killed. Okay, and then the devil enters him, and he becomes the son of perdition. Okay, and so if you read Revelation 13:4, okay, when the son of perdition comes, or the Antichrist, okay, they are gonna be worshiping the dragon. Okay, and then on Revelation 13 verse 16, the mark of the beast is introduced. Okay, and don't forget, and this is abominable, and don't forget Daniel 9:27, the abomination of desolation. Okay, now if you read verse 1, I just told you that it reads, there is no God. It's talking about corruption and abominable. Okay, we'll have a look at these prophecies here. Okay, now look what it says here on verse 1. Okay, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. How can we link this where it says there is no God? Well, if you actually look at Revelation 13 verse 4, okay, let's go look quickly. Revelation 13 verse 4, bear with me folks. We are here in Revelation already. Look what it says in Revelation, book of Revelation, chapter 13 verse 4. Look what it says. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. Okay, that they worship the dragon. So that's why it says that there is no God, because in the second half of the tribulation period, people are going to be worshiping the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast?" Okay, so the fact that they're saying there is no God is because they are worshiping the beast, and they're even saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make work with him?" Okay, and of course, if you read Revelation um, 13:16, okay, also it says here, and he causes, this is the Antichrist, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so when you look at the program here, okay, and on verse 1, you read, "There is no God." I just told you they are worshiping the Antichrist. They are corrupt. They are abominable. Okay, especially if I just show you here in Revelation 13:4 and Revelation 13:6. 13:4 is worshiping the dragon, and 13:16 rather is actually the mark of the beast. But then, what is abominable? Abominable is, according to Daniel 9:27, the abomination of desolation. The son of perdition, or the Antichrist, going into the third temple, saying that he is God. So let us quickly go there to Daniel 9:27. Bear with me, folks. Just one sec. I don't have a patch marker because I have patch markers everywhere. I'm just studying a few different things, biblical decipherings and things like that for you folks for there on the tracks. So I head over to book of Daniel, okay, chapter 9, and Daniel 9:27. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause a sacrifice and the oblation to cease, okay? And for the overspreading of abominations, okay, he shall make it desolate, okay? So this is going to happen at the beginning of the second half of the tribulation period, the abomination of desolation, okay? So let's quickly go back to Psalm 14 here, okay? So basically, folks, when you start reading, there is no God. I just told you they're worshiping the devil. They are corrupt. They're attacking the mark of the beast. They have done abominable works. Think of the abomination of desolation. There is none that does any good. Exactly, there is none that does any good, because by then people will be worshiping the son of perdition, and they're attacking the mark of the beast. Okay, this is why verses 1 to 6 are actually for the second half of the tribulation period. All these verses here, 1 to 6, are actually for the second half of the tribulation period, like I got on my program here. Okay, so verses 1 to 6 are for the second half of the tribulation period, and verse 7 is only for the Millennium Kingdom. Okay, so Psalm 14, folks, mostly applies to the second half of the tribulation period, except for verse 7, which is a Millennial Kingdom verse. I have abbreviated this, okay, Millennial Goradote, Kingdom Goradot, okay. So, I guess then, verse 1 lies a foundation that verses 1 to 6 are actually for the second half of the tribulation period, following context from verse 1, okay. And look what it says here on verse 2. The Lord looked down from heaven, okay, upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and see God. Okay, so especially during the second half of the tribulation period, God is going to be looking down to see if anyone is seeking God. He's not going to find any except the Jewish people. Okay, because look what it says on verse 3: they are all gone aside, because those that are going to be alive during the second half of the tribulation period are making up this all, okay? Because the devil, or the son of perdition, he's going to overcome the signs. In other words, he's going to kill all the signs, and the Jewish people are going to have to flee into the wilderness, okay? So basically, all the ones that are left are all gone aside, okay, worshiping the devil, they are all together become filthy, taking the mark of the beast, there is none all and none. There is none that does any good. No, not one, because in the second half of the tribulation period, all those that are still alive, during that time, we have to take the mark of the beast, okay? And all of them have gone aside, and there is none that does good, okay? So for verse 3, then on my notes here, I put, they're all gone aside. They are filthy. Why? Because of the mark of the beast in Revelation 13:6 and also Revelation 13:4. They are worshiping the dragon, okay? Now verse 4, have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? You know, so King David here is prophesying. Have all these workers of iniquity, all these people that are pretty much gone. No knowledge, who eat up my people. These are the Jewish people, as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord. So if all our context, so of course this is for the second half of the tribulation period, and the fact that he's saying all these workers of iniquity have no knowledge and who eat up my people. This is actually quite interesting because this is actually linking to quite a few prophecies, okay? So eat up my people. My people are actually the Jewish people, okay? God's people, my people. Now if you read Luke 21 verses 20 to 22, the Jewish people are going to have to flee, okay? And if you read Revelation 12 verses 14 to 17, the Jewish people have to flee in the wilderness and God is going to protect them, okay? So let us quickly go to Luke 21 verses 20 to 22, okay? So we know what's going on here. So bear with me here, okay? So we got Luke 21 verses 20 to 22 down here, okay? And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Okay, this also links up with Daniel 9:27. The abomination of desolation. Okay, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein, for these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written might be fulfilled. Okay, and also you can link this with Revelation 12 verses 14 to 17. Okay, so quickly let us go there. Yeah, this is quite horrific. So Revelation 12. So head over to Revelation 12 verses 14 and 17. Okay, and the woman, this is Israel, were given two wings of a great eagle. This is kind of like a figure of speech, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she's nourished for a time, meaning 1 year, and times, meaning 2 years, and a half a time for 3.5 years. God is going to protect the Jewish people supernaturally in the wilderness, okay, from the fights of the serpent, from the devil, okay, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as I flood after the woman. So the serpent, the devil, wants to flood, wants to cause a flood where the Jewish people are hiding in the wilderness, but he's not going to be lucky because on verse 16 it says, and the earth helped the woman. In other words, the earth is going to help Israel, okay, and the earth is going to open, the mouth. In other words, that the earth is going to swallow up the flood that the dragon wants to cast out, okay, or actually, is going to cast out of his mouth, rather, okay. So God is gonna, supernaturally, protect the Jewish people in the second half of the tribulation period, and we know that according to Zachariah, 1/3 will make it through. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9, of course. Okay, so eat up my people. I just show you it ties into Luke 21, verses 20 to 22. Also see Revelation 12, verses 14 to 17. Okay, but there's actually more prophecies than these. You know, Zachariah tells us that only 1/3 will make it through. So if we go to the book of Zachariah, bear with me, folks. Zechariah 13, verse 9. Okay, go to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9. Okay, and I will bring the third part through the fire. This is the Jewish people, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried, and they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, The Lord is my God. So there's a lot of prophecies, folks. But I'm just giving you some of the major ones just to decipher this for you, if you like. Okay. Now, verse 5. Then, and it reads, "There were they in great fear." Now, this is the Jewish people. Okay. There were they, this they, in great fear are the Jewish people. Okay. For God is in the generation of the righteous. This is a very interesting verse to decipher. Now, of course, the Jewish people will be in great fear during the second half of the tribulation because they're going to have to flee. And I just told you how the dragon is going to cause this flood. We got Luke 21, people are going to have to flee and so on. But it says here, for God is in the generation of the righteous. So what is happening here is that this generation of the righteous, okay, because it says here, for God is in, okay, God is in. So this God is in the generation of the righteous is actually that that will make it into the Millennium Kingdom of the Jewish people, according to Zachariah 13:9, because God is in the generation of the righteous, and because only 1/3 will make it through, God is going to be in that generation of the righteous, like I just showed you here in Zechariah. Okay, so this also has to be deciphered, folks. We have to think about everything. All the consequences of all these prophecies. Sorry, folks, I don't have a page marker. Let me just take you back to the program here for the time being. I'm on Zechariah now. Um, Here we go. Okay, so Zechariah. Okay, so and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off. Okay, so 2/3 will die, unfortunately, but the 1/3 shall be left therein. I just read to you this, but this prophecy then links up with this generation of the righteous. Okay, for God is in the generation of the righteous. So this bit here, for God is in the generation of the righteous, that generation is going to be that third that makes it through into the Millennium Kingdom. Okay, so in my program here, then uh, they will die in great fear. Of course, it's the Jewish people. So I got arrows pointing up. Okay, for God is in the generation of the righteous, meaning that only that 1/3 will make it through, because this is the righteous generation that will go through, or the Jewish people that will go through into the millennial kingdoms. That's why that is the generation of the righteous, and God is in them. Okay, so God will rescue a remnant of the Jewish people. Okay, 1/3, according to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 9. Okay, in great fear, there's a whole cluster of prophecies, but some of the main ones, for example, like Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 12 to 15, Isaiah 28:15. I told you about Luke 21, verses 20 to 22, when the Jewish people are going to have to flee. Revelation 12, when Esau has to flee into the wilderness, So if you have a look at this cluster, but the small, of course, it talks about the great fear, the Jewish people. Let us read Jeremiah chapter 30, okay? Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 12 to 15, okay? This is quite incredible. This biblical deciphering, although, it's small, it packs a big punch, So, Jeremiah 30, bear with me, folks. See, the reason that I'm slow is I got all these page markers in which I'm looking at other biblical decipherings. So I don't want to put too many because then I get confused, Okay, so we got here Jeremiah chapter 30. Okay, so if you look at verses 12 to 15, okay, for thus said the Lord, Thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. This is, for the tribulation period. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mightst be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee, thy sick thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased, and so on. But yeah, it's quite shocking. Now let us look at Isaiah 28:15. Yeah, this is quite something, folks. Isaiah 28:15. Bear with me for one sec. So we are on Isaiah 28:15, and it reads here, because you have said we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies a refuge, and under falsehoods we have hid ourselves. Okay, so all these prophecies here, folks, this cluster plus more is actually quite shocking. Uh, so yeah, this very short psalm is actually very powerful, and I already just showed you Luke 21:20. When people have to flee, that's in Judea, you have to flee. Revelation 12. The devil wanted to flood. The Jewish people in the wilderness and so on. So, and there's more than that. Now let me go now over to um, you know verse 6 now. Um, Give me one sec, folks. Okay, and then it says here on verse 6, you have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. It's interesting. It says here, you have shamed the counsel of the poor. Don't forget the black horse, folks. According to Revelation 6:5, the black horse represents famine. So in my notes here, where it says here, you have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Of course, because the poor are only going to get poorer, because if you read Revelation chapter 6 verse 5, the third seal is being opened, and the black horse comes out, okay, symbolizing famine. I'll take you there in a moment. And it says, and you all know this, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see, you hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, so let me show you how the poor, are gonna be even shamed even more. Revelation 6:5. Okay, so give me one sec, folks. We're not far from at the back of the Bible here. Uh, Revelations 6:5. Here we go, folks. Revelation 6 verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, okay, symbolizing famine. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see, you hurt not the oil and the wine. So everybody's going to be doing it tough, but the poor are going to be doing it even more tough. Those those people in tribulation. So that's what I got for my notes now. Finally, folks, we got a bit of light, coming of verse 7. Okay, and this is a bit of a relief. Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. Okay, when the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob, of his people rather, Jacob shall rejoice. Okay, so this is Jesus' second coming. He's gonna bring back the captivity, that 1/3 that will make it through, according to Zachariah chapter 13 verse 9, those that are living in the land. But there will be people also coming back from other parts of the world. And Jacob, in meaning Israel, shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad finally. So this is a Millennium Kingdom prophecy here on verse 7. But Verses 1 to 6 are all for the tribulation period, for the second half of the tribulation period. Okay, now verse 6, you could say that it can apply to both, because people will be, the poor people will get poorer, throughout the whole 7 year of the tribulation period. But you could say that it applies to the first half and the second half. But of course, verses 1 to 6 in context are mainly for the second half of the tribulation period. And verse 7, we see Jesus, thank God, coming out, and Israel shall rejoice. So this is it, folks. Thanks for watching. It's actually quite shocking, like just 7 verses, but yeah, it's quite terrible. And so that's why people need to get saved and go out of the rapture, because you don't want to be in the tribulation period, that's for sure. So I'm just going to give you one final scan here of my notes. Okay, in case that you want to rewind this video and then go back later and then study all this for yourselves. Okay, maybe you can come up with some ideas to make this deciphering a little bit better, if you like. And so yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'm looking, as you can see, I got patch markers here. I'm looking at other decipherings for the future. And I'm looking at some of the Psalms next to it, so there's amazing stuff, in the Psalms, amazing, Bible prophecies. All right, folks, thanks you for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.